actually want to ask Jordan something about what he just did there. Jordan Schultz is the Fox Sports NFL insider, co-host of Why Is Draymond Green Talking About Football. There are a lot of people in the insider space. His information is very good. He had something on Jerry Jones and Deion Sanders the other day. But when you come on and you say, my pledge, is it because you're such a hurry gathering information that you don't have time for the word pleasure? You don't have time for actual pleasure or saying the word. You got to just say my pledge.
No, I actually stole that. It's so funny you asked that, Dan. But I actually stole that term from the movie I Love You, Man, when Paul Rudd is talking to Jason Segel. And he has all these different phrases he says that aren't really a part of his vocabulary. But because he's so awkward and so desperate to create a friendship, he keeps saying things that he doesn't really want to say. And one of them is my pledge. And I stole it because I thought it was so funny. So that's actually the reason.
I love that movie, Jobin.
It's a great scene. It's a great scene.
Jobin is so good. My favorite scene of that movie is the dog poop when he doesn't pick it up and someone says something to him and he just yells at them and he just runs at them and yells. Not even anything. He just makes a loud noise. That scene, and also the fact that Jason Segel's actual day-by-day job is essentially to go to open houses and steal their food.
That is correct. I also think that slapping the bass is a rare phrase that we're not making really movies that carry over for 10 years with funny things like that you'll remember. But I want to go back, and I failed earlier in the show. I want to show this to Jordan Schultz because I have failed as a network to correct the generation gap we have around here. When David Sampson and Adnan Virk start talking about movies, they know more than just about anybody I'm listening to on movies. However, they're talking about movies that are ancient, not Asian, ancient. They are talking about Back to School 1986. And what I want to play for Jordan Schultz, I don't know if you're familiar. Do you know what I'm talking about here? Because I want to just show you something and tell you that it's better than anything Paul Rudd has done. Are you familiar with the movie Back to School?
No, but that looks great. Oh, right. Wow.
So, yes, this is Rodney Dangerfield. This is the triple Lindy right here. This is Rodney Dangerfield going from from diving board to diving board. No one's ever done the triple Lindy before. This is an amazing dive to end this movie
this
with.
Is so good.
Yes, a very not physically fit Rodney Dangerfield.
This is on.
That's right.
Real.
That's right. And there it is. Please put that picture in picture. I want that to play for the rest of the show. Jessica, do you believe that this is a movie worth watching because Rodney Dangerfield has just nailed the triple Lindy?
I mean, I've done the triple Lindy, so I'm not that impressed.
Really?
That looks like a death-defying Evel Knievel type act.
Okay, yeah, and Jessica has not done it, and it doesn't deserve to look at me, Louie. And you've just
because I'm a woman.
You've devalued.
Great question.
It is because you're a woman. Women can't do that. Only Rodney Dangerfield can. Clearly, you have to have a penis to do that.
Muscle memory. Let me remind the audience that this episode of the Dan LeBatard Show is brought to you by DraftKings.
Good timing for that.
The crown is yours.
I didn't have a comeback. I'm sorry.
Jerry Jones has spoken with Deion Sanders. Jordan, can you tell me what the news is there and how real this is? Or is this just Jerry loves marketing and, hey, look, I can get around the Rooney Rule by doing this as well?
Yeah, Jerry is a master marketer, but really what it came down to, Dan, was over the last week when he realized that Mike McCarthy's contract was in limbo and that there was a possibility, albeit a strong one, that they weren't going to extend him. They decided, Jerry did, that it was time to try and get ahead because he was already behind. Don't forget, because he waited, he cannot interview Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn or others this week because of the way the NFL sets up its interview policy. So as a result, he started doing his back channeling and realizing that Deion Sanders could potentially be a fit to become the next head coach of Dallas. And ultimately, he ends up reaching out to Deion, as I reported the other night, and realizes that Deion is potentially interested, knowing full well that Deion over the last couple of years has been very clear publicly that he does not want to coach in the NFL. But when the Cowboys become an option or at least a possibility, that's a call he has to take. It's a call frankly, that with the relationship he has with Jerry Jones, it wasn't even necessarily an interview. They haven't even scheduled an interview, but it was, I think, the mutual respect that the two men have as peers. And I've said this a lot over the last couple of days. There's not a lot of people that can match Jerry Jones in terms of charisma, panache, prestige, let alone understand the cachet and gravitas of an organization like the Cowboys. Deion Sanders is one of them.
It just doesn't seem like it's real. It seems like they're both profiteers and masters of getting attention. Like, how real is it? Yeah, them talking is fine and interesting, but how is it not just cosmetic? Does anyone believe that Jerry Jones would turn over his organization to someone like Deion Sanders, who played the way Deion Sanders does, coached the way Deion Sanders does, and would occupy a position that Jerry Jones needs to be egoless?
You're right. And I hear what you're saying, and I asked that question. And one of the answers that was given to me by someone in the Dallas building was Deion has run his operation in Colorado much like an NFL program over the last couple of years. And it's a small sample size, and he's still very green as a head coach. But the way he assembled his staff, the way he relates to the players, and that was really the message that kept getting reiterated to me, is that Deion is going to relate to players in a way that they have not had, with all due respect to a Mike McCarthy or a Jason Garrett. And on top of that, Deion has also said, as we know, and this is a question that is very valid, Dan, what you're saying, that he would only consider the NFL if he got to coach his sons. Well, Dallas has a quarterback. His name's Dak Prescott. They just paid him a record-setting deal. If Deion were to come to Dallas, make no mistake, Dak would be the quarterback. It's not going to be Shedeur Sanders. So there's a lot of factors here. And then there's also been the question mark of, would Deion use Dallas as a leverage point, a leverage play with Colorado? I was told no, and that he has a lot of respect and too good of a relationship with Rick George, the AD there. But there's also a big buyout. There's a lot that has to happen. And it's also without question that Dallas is going to do an extensive search, but it's been made clear to me in no uncertain terms that should Deion want to pursue the job, should Deion have interest in the job, that he would be at or near the top of the list.
Chris Cody, I have seen, forgive me for a second, Jordan, the good people at Cuervo have arrived, and we like to take care of the sponsors who take care of us, and the sponsors who take care of us like to take care of us. And what are you doing on your phone right now? Are you breaking news right now on your phone?
The phone, the one on the phone can wait. It's not urgent. That's like an hour or two away. But the jerseys is actually a sweet story because it comes down to my daughter, who's 10 and loves nothing more in the world than Taylor Swift. And I told her and my son that I would get them a Travis Kelce jersey. And then my son said, well, I like Mahomes better. So I got them each a Mahomes and Kelce jersey. And I've essentially put it in my office until they realize that it's their jersey. And until they come in and physically remove the jerseys, which my wife says they will in the next couple of weeks when they really understand this is what's happening, it's still mine.
A toast to front runners. We've got kids who are front runners. A toast to Jordan Schultz's front running kids.
And Cuervo.
They've been with the Chiefs ever since Taylor Swift got there. To Jordan
Correct.
Schultz and the front running children.
And Cuervo.
Thank you, Cuervo. I think Chris Cody just faked a shot. Did you have the shot or did you fake a shot?
Been sipping tequila all day.
We have been sipping tequila. You know what? I'm slurring my words because we have been sipping tequila since they got here. Jordan, among the people in the sport, the fear of the Rams, is it throughout the league that everyone knows that the Rams can beat anybody and fear their coach and their quarterback and their receivers? Or is that just the public getting away, getting away from itself in the week of wild card play where a team looks good and then all of a sudden you think they can beat the team like Detroit that's got a 222 point differential? And are the Rams should the Rams, given what the Lions did this season, be among the big underdogs?
No, I would say as the Rams started to get healthy, the second half of the season, Dan, it became clear among the league circles that was a very, very dangerous team. And that Sean McVay, as long as he had a healthy Cooper Kupp, as long as Jared Verse continued to cause havoc on the defensive side of the ball, killing quarterbacks, that this team had a chance to make a real run. And that nobody, not only in the NFC West, but nobody in the NFC really wanted to play them. So the Rams are a very good football team. And as good of a year as Minnesota had with the 14 wins and the reclamation project that was Sam Darnold, the Rams beating them the way they did in Arizona was not really a surprise, because that's really who this team has been the last 6 weeks. Stafford's been playing at a very high level. They're incredibly well coached, and they're finally healthy. And they have, I don't know, one of the best 4 or 5 running backs in the league. All due respect to everyone, Saquon and Derrick Henry. Calvin Williams is as good as anyone. He is an absolute wrecking ball, and he gives them the type of balance that they so desperately have wanted. So I'm excited about that team. I still think Detroit is the most complete team, and I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone say differently. And they have the best 1-2 coordinator punch in football with Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. And then Philadelphia has the best offensive and defensive line combo. The NFC is very tough, and I could see it going a whole lot of ways. But I think top to bottom, most balanced, even with all the injuries and all the IR, Detroit's still number one.
How do you feel about Funyuns?
I am a big Funyuns guy. That was my number one snack growing up until I realized it wasn't very good for you, Dan. It was very bad for you. My mom used to tell me, Funyuns, it's you want to play basketball, Jordan, Funyuns is going to make you thirsty. You're not going to have the nutrition on the court. So I stopped eating them when I was like 12.
But Jordan, that's not why you didn't make the NBA, buddy.
Oh, I know. I'm well aware. I was never going to the NBA, but I did enjoy a fairly successful high school career and did play 4 years in college, which, considering my athleticism or lack thereof, is pretty good.
Maybe if you didn't have the Funyuns, you would have made the NBA now. I take it back.
No, I had the lowest. I don't know if I want to say this on this program.
No, do it. Yeah,
but
yeah.
I will say this.
Just friends here.
I had. This is very tough to admit on national television. I'm debating in my mind whether or not.
Oh, you're here now.
I'm just gonna do it.
Come on.
Because I already told you the
Come on,
story.
Jobin.
I told you the story.
We're friends. We're friends now. You got to do it. You got to impress your friends.
I had the lowest vertical leap in Seattle University basketball history.
That's impressive.
A record breaker.
I believe it was like 22 and a half, which basically means at a shade under 6'3", I could grab the rim, maybe, if I was feeling good. That's how unathletic I was.
There's no shot you could do the triple Lindy.
No triple Lindy for
Not
me.
like
No
Jessica.
single Lindy for me.
Put it on the poll, please. Would Jordan Schultz have made the NBA if not for the Funyuns?
Dan, I can't express to you how unathletic, how slow I was. In fact,
You
as I
just
developed in
did.
college, I got the nickname the Matador because my defense was literally the Matador.
Yes. How do you feel about wearing shoes in the house?
I'm really into the comfortable slippers. I love those, but those shoes don't go outside. So outdoor shoes are a serious no-no inside the house, in the Schultz household.
How are we about that in the shipping container? Because you asked me earlier this week, Chris, you asked me a question because I dropped a banana on the floor without the peel, and I was thinking about eating the banana after it was on the floor. You asked me if we were a house where we wear the shoes inside, and I did wear shoes inside and didn't know any better until I got married. And then I stopped wearing shoes inside. Are you guys wearing shoes inside, or do the shoes get left outside?
I really don't feel that strongly either way, but if I walk into a friend's house and they're one of those people where it's like shoes off at the door, that's always annoying. Like, I'm all for clean houses, but just like someone.
Yeah, Chris, I don't do that.
Yeah,
I don't mandate that. I think that's a personal decision, and I go back to a Larry David episode in Curb where everyone is supposed to take their shoes off and Larry doesn't really want to. I feel like it's the guest decision.
Is it, though? Because, what if you assume that there are shoes off house and you just walk into the house and you take off your shoes and just make yourself comfortable uninvited?
It also depends if there's socks involved. Like, I don't want someone's bare little toesies on my couch. I also don't know if I want their dirty shoes, though, but it depends what the shoes are, I think.
No, that's a great point by Jessica. The worst case scenario is the barefoot, which is disgusting. That's a no-go.
Roy?
I keep my shoes on in my house.
Let me see those feet. Put it on the poll at LeBatard Show. Do you wear your shoes inside the house?
For my own house, I have a designated pair of slippers, like hard bottom platform slippers I wear around. So I feel like I have shoes on, and my feetsies don't get cold. But they never go outside, so they're clean.
Man, the best part about this cold season for us down here in South Florida,
I've been loving it.
We get about 2 weeks of it, is the socks in the house and during nighttime. Because 10 months out of the year, 11 months out of the year, you can't wear socks to bed in Florida. Yep. It's too hot. I love going to bed with your socks on. If your feet slip out of the covers, you're still warm. It's the best.
Yeah, that's South Florida. That's the best of South Florida. We know in New York today, I woke up, it was 19 degrees. So, enjoy that.
Look at me, Louis.
Chris, were you trying to be cute there?
I'm just saying when my foot, because sometimes
if I don't
have socks on and my toes slip out, I'm like, oh, get back in there. What are you doing out here? But if I have socks on, I'm like, you can go out there for a little bit, go out, get a little fresh air,
explore.
I don't know what I'm doing there, but I do believe that Jess has feetsies, but you don't have toesies, and I don't know what I'm doing there because I think you have thick, freckled feet.
I don't know. Let's see him.
Oh no, let's not see him.
He's got some hobbit feet, I bet.
I just think they're thick. I think they're like canned hams.
Thank you, Dan.
Freckled,
I didn't know you had that thought of me, but
freckled.
thank you.
No, I think that I don't think
you think it's thick, huh?
I don't think your feet are cute. We're going to get a look here. We're going to get a reveal. There it is.
Sock.
You're wearing
Well,
socks.
It's a
no,
clean
with the
sock.
No, a sock doesn't. Well, you got.
We just did a whole thing that we don't like feet.
No,
I'm
the
surprised
feet
you
are
have
behind the
socks that have
paywall.
holes.
We're talking
Yeah.
about
Those are
what-
good
Some
socks.
do.
Those are good socks, yeah.
you.
foot.
No, we're not.
Foot.
Ew.
Foot.
What are you putting on the
Foot.
screen?
And
Greg's
there is
foot?
there are Chris Cody's
No,
feet right
oh,
there.
come
Thank you
on.
on the screen. Toast to Cuervo. Thank you, Jordan. A toast to Cuervo. Jordan, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate the information, sir.
My pleasure. Always enjoy it. Bye.
Dan, you've been saying to us that you want to get better with fan engagement. Well, here it is. Thanks to our friends at Boost Mobile, we are now doing Boldest Take from the Week. We want you listeners. Send us something funny. Send us a hot take. But one thing it has to be is bold. You dial the number 718-540-9013. You give us your boldest take, and we will be playing that for the rest of the show. It's good stuff.
You said boldest take from the week. The imaging behind me says boldest take from the weekend.
Don't really think, I'm saying it now. Give us your boldest take. Call in 718-540-9013. Give us your boldest take. If you happen to do over the weekend, give us your boldest take from the weekend. If you do it midweek, give it to us from the week. It really doesn't matter. But either way, the Boost Mobile boldest take from the weekend is presented by Boost Mobile, the newest 5G network in the country.
How do you guys feel in general about how Chris delivered all of that?
I think he did fine till you then made a sort of a slightly pedantic correction, and then he had to try to save it.
We know what that means.
Stop being pedantic is the real note here.
The middle word in pedantic is always Dan. You guys put behind me weekend, and you said week, and I'm just trying to get the advertising right because we appreciate our sponsors. This is the first time one's making an appearance here. We're celebrating Cuervo today. We want to show our sponsors that we love our sponsors, so I just want to do it right. I'm not being pedantic.
The literal definition of pedantic, someone who's too concerned with literal accuracy or formality. It doesn't matter if it's from the weekend or the week. I think the idea, the gist of it was delivered accurately.
You know what? You're generally correct. I would say that it is a life principle rule to if you know the general meaning of what someone is saying, you become an asshole by correcting them when you know. Except when you're trying to please sponsors with sponsored content and you want to make sure to get these things correct.
I think they would have been fine with it, probably less so with what we're doing now.
Yeah.
But we're doing this on Wednesday, Dan. If we did it on Monday, I would have said weekend. I'm just doing the math that it's weird to pitch something from the weekend on Wednesday.
So
That's
what day should people call?
Any
just to
day
be
they
clear?
want. That's
Okay.
the point that Dan is getting caught up on. That doesn't matter.
All right.
Whether it's a Thursday, give it from the week. If it's a Monday, give it from the weekend. Either way, we love Boost Mobile, and we appreciate their sponsorship. And you need to check them out because they're the newest 5G network in the entire country.
I think Chris doesn't want people to not call because they're worried it's not from the weekend. I think that he's sort of opening this up to anyone. And so now we're getting really bogged down in the details when people probably don't even remember what the initial read was.
The key is to be bold, all right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter when you do it, be bold, just like Boost Mobile.
So you can call 718-540-9013 any day of the week with a bold take.
And
I'm asking.
And it's presented by Boost Mobile, the newest 5G network in our country.
I love that it's here. It's been a while since we had phone lines around here. I was surprised to miss the phone lines. I've always mocked the phone lines. We used to have, I don't know if you guys remember this or are old enough to remember this. You could go through some of this in the oral history, especially the supercuts, which I've enjoyed. We have done this kind of thing before where we have a hot take hotline, and what ends up happening is Stugotz ends up calling again and again on his way home.
It's open to anyone. If Stugotz gives the boldest take, then we'll play it. Yeah. Be bolder than Stugotz, audience. Yeah.
The other things that I wanted to get to today that I'm hoping that we have time for, there are an assortment of them. I am told finally, after much, much pushing and shoving, you guys finally have some gas bags of the week to give me. You guys finally have 2 competing gas bags. I've asked you to do it every week. We haven't done it for months. We did it like 2 or 3 times and then fell right into a ditch with a fart sound. Do you have good gas bags of the week to compete against each other? Yes or no, Chris? Are you confident? You keep telling me it's because your standard is so discerning that it's hard to get. Everyone's giving takes, and it's hard for you to find one that's gas bag worthy when all I hear is Dan Dockich over here saying idiotic thing after idiotic thing, but you guys aren't listening to real gas bags.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Overall, I'm feeling less confident than I was before this segment just because of how this segment has started. But I have 2 nominees here. I have one from Bill Simmons and one from Colin Cowherd. Which one do you want
think
first?
Is better? Which one do you think should win? Well, let's find out together.
Let's do Bill Simmons first, talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I officially think Pittsburgh's the best team in the AFC.
Oh, come on. You can't after Jameis game. You can't claim that.
I think they're the best team. I feel the safest about them if you start nitpicking all these AFC teams.
Really?
I feel the most comfortable with Pittsburgh.
That was 14 days ago.
Oh, no.
No, it wasn't.
It was mid-December. What's the math on that? More than 14 days ago. Yeah.
Like
14 sounds good, though. It was like 20-something days ago. Mid-December.
That was after they...
a month
I
ago.
officially think...
After they lost to Jameis on Thursday night and then ended up losing 4 of their last 5 games.
I think this was after the second Browns game.
So that's
And they
against... Okay, that's the one they won. And so he's saying after that they went on a 5-game losing streak.
After that, they played the Chiefs, Ravens, and Eagles in the span of 11 days, which when the schedule came out, everyone circled that as like, ooh, this could be nasty. It was. Yikes. Not a take I would have made after that Browns game.
But they were coming off of a big win against the Bengals. It was December 8th. They had beat the Ravens, the Commanders. Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
They lost all of those games by 14+ points. So no, there wasn't really. Yes, they were playing against good teams, but there wasn't anyone in the league losing quite like that.
I commend Bill Simmons for this take.
Yeah. Of course you do.
We got a better one, though. We have Colin Cowherd comparing Lamar Jackson and Sam Darnold.
Lamar Jackson, Sam Darnold. Look at the numbers. Who do you trust more in a playoff game? Are you sure it's Lamar? And I love Lamar. But what I said years ago, I said there's some Andrew Luck here.
He's saying that about Sam Darnold. There's some Andrew
That's
Luck
now?
in Sam Darnold. When was that? This was recent also, in December.
That's crazy. He's been saying the same thing since like 2016.
Can you guys find for me, because there was a historic Cowherd take that aged most poorly as it regarded to instantaneous analysis on a famous quarterback of some sort that was spectacularly intergalactically wrong. And I've told you guys before that Colin Cowherd, like some others, have figured out that it doesn't matter what your words are. There is money to be made in being wrong, loudly wrong, as long as you just get it out there and it gets aggregated, because credibility doesn't much matter anymore as long as you're just getting the eyes for whatever it is that you're saying. We will get to that in a second if I can remember it. But Jessica, I wanted to talk to you about this Brad Pitt scammer lady and explain to me what is happening here with AI. I get fooled very easily by AI. Is this happening to the rest of you?
Oh, man. The thing is, this isn't even AI. I think it's bad Photoshop. But, Dan, even you, I think, wouldn't have been fooled by this. These are pictures that allegedly were sent to a woman in France by Brad Pitt, asking her for money, pretending to be Brad Pitt / Brad Pitt's mom, saying that he was in the hospital and that he needed help and he needed money. And this poor woman, I do feel bad because she is just getting eviscerated online for this, but this poor woman was scammed out of over $800,000, according to People.com, sending this money to this person pretending to be Brad Pitt. And these photos are just so bad. It's like it's almost unfathomable how this could happen.
My favorite is the bottom right one where it's just like someone doing surgery and it's just like Brad Pitt's like face popping up.
I thought that was Mike Ryan from this distance just popping up in the surgery room. I didn't even know, like from behind a corner of the surgery room because it's so far and it looks so incredibly fake. But I've got to think that if I'm regularly being fooled by AI stuff that's not this crude, it's happening to everybody, correct? Like, especially the voice stuff, like the fake audio. How easy is it to fool you on all of this fake audio that they can make to sound exactly like, Mike Tomlin is saying something he's not actually saying?
Well, I was going to say more so where they can like call you saying like they're calling you from like your loved one's phone and use their voice. That scares me. The Mike Tomlin ones, I pretty much always know that those ones are fake.
I'm trying to find like the level of celebrity that I might fall for something like this. If Josh Gad reached out to me.
That's a really good one.
And he's
local
just like,
South
he's
Florida
local.
guy.
He reach out
I'm
to
just
you?
Friends with Dookie Lang.
He's
got that Disney money.
WPLG.
I'm trying to find the celebrity out there that if I got an email and
perfect.
there's a bunch of pictures and I'm like, hey, I need $70,000 by tomorrow, I'd be like, I gotta help Josh Gad.
You have $70,000?
No, I'd call my mom.
He'll be Josh Glad.
But I'm just saying, like, that's the level.
Mom, Josh Gad needs $800,000.
I'd probably set up like a 3-way Zoom with me, my mom, and Josh Gad, and like, let's really talk this out. How can we do this?
He'd be Josh Glad.
He would for the help.
He would.
But that...
Is it the Josh Rosen is a better prospect than Lamar Jackson take that you were thinking about with Cowherd?
I found a clip here.
It's a Lamar Jackson take, and I want to get to it in a second. I'll be really Josh Glad when we get to it. I just can't believe how bad a joke that was. But
would you help Josh Gad if he asked, Dan?
Really nice guy.
What's he asking for?
He needs $70K.
No,
stat.
But he needs it.
I will acknowledge, though, that comedically, the syllable count, name, and visual of Josh Gad was perfectly chosen by Chris Cody. Like, just as someone randomly calling you and they've got a name and the name is Josh Gad, I don't think you could have picked a better celebrity for me to, like, let that go to voicemail because I don't want to cash that favor.
Wow. Okay, so if it's the money and the amount, which would you rather give Josh Gad in a time of peril? A kidney or $70,000?
Mine or my mom's?
Your kidney, but it's free.
Well, I guess if the person, even if they're a scammer, actually needs the kidney, at least like the kidney's going to a good place. Yeah. Whereas like if you're just giving them money, they don't need, like they're just blowing this on something, right? Like
no, he needs a kidney, but it's either your kidney or $70,000. He can buy a kidney on the black market.
But if someone's getting a kidney.
Josh Gad is getting a kidney.
Actual Josh Gad.
Yeah, he needs one.
I thought this was scammer Josh Gad.
No, Josh Gad needs one.
Because, like, donating a kidney to a stranger is, like, even if you're scammed out of it, it's a good thing to do, I guess.
I was just doing this more along the lines of an email I would actually believe. Whereas Brad Pitt, I would be like, someone's messing with me. Whereas if it was Josh Gad, I'd be like, this is so random.
Insane. Like, this woman was like, oh, I guess that makes sense. Brad Pitt's calling me.
If I'm an organ donor and Josh Gad needs my kidney and I'm donating my kidney to Josh Gad, who pays the copay? Do I have to pay my insurance to donate a kidney to Josh
you both
Gad?
have to pay for it.
Because like there's a medical procedure that's taking place that presumably my insurance will cover, which I'm sure they'd ask, like, why are we covering an elective surgery where you're donating kidney? But do I pay to donate my kidney or does the recipient?
Maybe some people's insurance covers both surgeries.
You would think, right? Like a car accident situation.
You say it's a good question, Jessica, but I will show you and have to show you, and it's not just because I've been sipping here Cuervo for about 40 minutes. I need to shine a light on what Billy just did there, which is he turned a conversation we were having that was already absurd about Josh Gad asking Chris Cody for money. Yeah, and then made it about a kidney instead the money. Then made it about copay when all I want is the Lamar Jackson sound. So I'm only
Gad, I've learned Gad would be paying the copay.
I am only willing to go so far with Billy on this. He's making me Josh sad. I want to play the Lamar Jackson sound on Colin Cowherd, please. This is the analysis as Lamar Jackson is coming out of college.
And I've said Lamar Jackson's a more talented version of Tim Tebow. And all I get is pushback. All I get is pushback. And I say, no, you watch what's going to happen. Baltimore and Denver were proud franchises with Super Bowls, getting very frustrated with their head coach on the hot seat. Both guys were overdrafted. Both guys are projects, not prospects. Tim Tebow was a project. He was never a prospect. Lamar Jackson's a project. He's not Sam Darnold. He's not Josh Rosen. You watched them last night. He's not even close. And here you have a young quarterback who runs right now better than he throws, and he's new, flashy, and fun, and he's hope. He is hope. And now add Twitter and stir. Lamar Ball is what we may be calling him by November. Of course Lamar's not close. I've never thought he was close. That's why I keep calling him a project. I never call him a prospect. Sam Darnold's a prospect. Okay, Baker Mayfield's a prospect. They'll play this year, and they'll be able to move the chains. They'll be able to get... No. This is a project.
Meh. So the fake Brad Pitt said he had kidney cancer and needed a loan because his bank accounts were locked as a result of his ongoing divorce with Angelina Jolie. So there was a kidney involved.
Dan, would you give Pitt your kidney? You guys see Tebow's having a baby, speaking of Tim Tebow?
I saw that everywhere yesterday.
He seems like he'd be a fun dad. But also take like go out for a catch, like he'd be throwing pretty hard, right?
Taking things very seriously all the time.
Yeah.
I need the baby's going to come out in Tebow. Remember Tebowing?
Oh. What a craze.
I need to hear this list again of quarterbacks that Lamar Jackson is not.
He's not Sam Darnold. He's not Josh Rosen. You watched them last night. He's not even close.
He's not Josh Rosen. That's true.
He's not close to either one of them. He's not wrong about that.
I saw this on Twitter. I need to credit who posted this. One of my Calgorithm friends. Cal's had more quarterbacks start in the Super Bowl than USC.
Wow. Do you know that?
We're going to have Patrick Surtain on with us in a little bit. Patrick Surtain was the greatest cornerback in Miami Dolphins history, and Patrick Surtain, his son, is now the favorite for Defensive Player of the Year, which took me aback because when's the last time a corner won Defensive Player of the Year? Their pass rush was so good, at least in part, because Patrick Surtain was able to always cover the number one receiver well. He was unbelievable as a corner.
2019, Stephon Gilmore. 2009, Charles Woodson before that, so it's very rare.
Man, all right. Both of them, father and son, next. In Dolphins history, and is the second best cornerback on this particular call. I think I can say that. I could probably say it better than that if I had another chance at it. But what we have on the line here, one cornerback is a 3-time Pro Bowler and an All-Pro selection at cornerback. But the other is also a 3-time Pro Bowler and a 2-time first-team All-Pro selection at quarterback. And he's done it in 4 seasons. Yep. So I'm guessing that it breaks Patrick Surtain's heart and fills his heart to say publicly as a cocky cornerback that his son is already better than he is.
Dan, I have told you, Patrick, I have told Dan this a number of times. It is always better to watch your kid do it than do it yourself. So I am guessing you're totally fine with your son being the best cornerback in the family.
I'm totally fine with it. I didn't want to relinquish the title quite yet, but it's obvious.
But do I say anything that's incorrect, Patrick Jr. or Patrick II? Excuse me. Can you tell me whether or not what kind of memories do you have of your father's greatness? Did you know he was great?
Yeah, I knew he was great. Later down the lines, before I was a bit younger, so. I don't remember it vividly, the times when he played for the Dolphins, but I still can recall like memories back in the day when he played with the Chiefs, and I knew instant greatness right away. So that's when I realized the type of player he was. So.
Patrick Sr., do you regard yourself as the best defensive back or the best corner in Dolphins history?
I do. Obviously, I played with the other greats and Sam Madison. Played some with T. Buck. But I just think, the number of years I was there, 7 years, the stats I was able to accumulate, the Pro Bowls, just being an all-around player, played in the slot, got 7.5 sacks, obviously 37 picks. It's up for debate, but I think my time here and the work that I put in, I definitely would consider. And if you ask anybody else that question, they would say the same thing. So,
Patrick Jr., did you know those stats of your father? 7.5 sacks. How many sacks you got?
I don't got no sacks. Yeah, he got the upper stat on me right there. I ain't get no sacks on the QB yet. That's a stat I'm trying to accumulate as well. So.
But wait a minute. The reason that your teammates got more sacks than anyone in the NFL this year is because you're back there as Defensive Player of the Year covering people. So you didn't get the sacks, but you got the sacks.
Yeah, I could say I helped along the lines of the sacks. I could put my name in it for sure. Help the guys get some pressure a little bit. They helped me as well too. But my coverage in the back end helps a lot too. So. You can say that.
Who do you regard as in your class as a corner? Stingley, obviously, this postseason is getting a lot of talk. But I think you're the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year, are you not? Like, who do you regard as good as you at this?
I mean, that's a good question. Obviously, everybody got their tiers of corners. I mean, I think I solidified myself consistently these past couple of years. So I could definitely say I'm at the top of the game right now, honestly, for myself. But yeah, Stingley, he's had a great year, all-pro year. He's a great cornerback. Jalen Ramsey, another dude that's been doing consistently. Sauce Gardner, those guys for sure. Slay, I don't know. It's just a lot of good corners in the league that you could put in that class for sure, because with the league now, it's transcends to a passing game, so you need a lot of good corners in this league. So, I mean, you could name a whole bunch, and it couldn't be wrong. So,
but do you think you're the Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, I believe so. I think my tape speaks for itself. What I've able to do this year, holding number one receivers like under 30 yards. Damn near every game. So I think the stats, the tape, the measurable speaks for itself. So why not?
Dad, what's the game you saw that you were like, oh, he can shut down anybody? There any games that you're a little scared before it because you're like, okay, this one's a challenge for my son?
Not really, because I've seen them do it for so long. Just going back to high school, college, and just I vividly remember his rookie year where they just lined him out there like, you got this guy, man. And he was playing with some veteran guys and Ronald Darby and Justin Simmons back there. And they had trust in him from day one to go out there and handle his business on the perimeter. And as the years have gone by, he's just he progressed in his game. And now, he's probably one of the rare cornerbacks, in the game that follows the number one receiver. And I think that alone, and being able to shadow those guys, because the receivers now, man, they're so good. They're coming into the pros, ready-made, and they're really good players. And for him to go and follow the top guys each and every week, it says something about him and says how much trust that the coaching staff has in him.
Patrick, I'm wondering what it was like playing for your dad in high school, knowing that you were better than he was.
Nah, I wasn't better than him just yet. But it was a great experiences. It was moments that I would cherish forever. Being able to be by his side, seeing him coach, at a high level, and him building young kids and turning them into young men. It's pretty inspirational to look at it from that perspective, because, I mean, he wasn't just coaching me, he was coaching a band of younger guys as well, too. So seeing that and being a part of that process and experience, I enjoyed it. and it's something I take with me forever. You know, hopefully we'll cross ties again, maybe, in the league, but you know, who knows?
Was he hard on you? Did he yell at you?
Yeah, of course. He'll tell you himself. He'll definitely hard on me. You know, but you know, I learned a lot from those experiences. You know, it was something that made me better as a player and as a person. Those tough learned lessons that I learned from him. It just made me become wiser, and I understood that, you know, he wanted what's best for me at the end of the day. You know what I mean? You need some tough, constructive criticism to reach to this point, and I wouldn't want it any other way. So I'm very thankful for that, for sure.
Patrick Sr., I coached my daughter in lacrosse for like 10 years, and she ended up going to Northwestern. It's like the Alabama of women's lacrosse, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so Patrick Sr., I am wondering if you did this, because I did it all the time. I would go out of my way to yell at my daughter because I wanted to save face with the rest of the team. Did you?
There were some times, but you know, it's crazy because I didn't have any clue that I wanted to coach. But when I retired, I had to do something. He was at the park, and I was just this crazy dad in the stands, just yelling at people and everything.
Yeah.
So my thing was, I'm out here, so I might as well help and start coaching. But you know, I tried to treat him as equal as I can as all the other players. I didn't want to, you know, make an example, but at some point in times, I had to make an example with him to let the other guys know that, you know, he yelled at his son. You know, it's the rest of us could get it too, but you know, you have to know how to separate the two. You know, I was coach at the school and on the football field, but at home I was dad. You know, so I think it worked out pretty good.
Hold on, though. When you played, Sam Madison was the talker. You didn't have much of anything to say to anybody. You were better than everybody, and you didn't say much of anything. Are you telling me that in the stands at his games before you were a coach, you couldn't shut up because you were yelling at everybody?
Dan, I was nuts. I was nuts in the stand, man. I didn't know where it came from. I just yelling at people. I remember one game I was on the sideline. He's running for a long touchdown. I'm running down the sideline, and I knock a kid over. I'm like, oh man, what am I doing? So, you know, it was just the excitement of seeing, you know, your kid out there doing special things, man. It just brought a certain energy and feeling out of me.
Wait a second. Are you saying that you're sprinting right past him as he returns a pick six for a touchdown? You're just running next to your son?
So good.
He actually played running back, so he was running down the field, scoring a touchdown. I'm running the same directions as him, full speed, and there was a little kid. I think the kid was like 8 years old, man, ran clean over the little kid.
That's embarrassing. It is. Wait a minute. Who's more embarrassed there? Certainly your son is embarrassed, is he not?
Well, I don't think he sucked because he's outrunning me, so he's a little bit ahead of me. But yeah, man, sorry to the kid.
Well, so explain this part to us. When you have the gratitude and the swelling of what is really proud love, how often will you, like, what is the height of being moved by watching him play?
Oh, just seeing him compete, man. I remember, I think 2 years ago, he had 2 picks against the Chargers, and he came to the stands and handed me the ball, and I'm knocking people over, get out the way, that's my ball, getting the ball and going back, man. But it's also, you know, because when you're out there actually playing the game, you know, you're in control of everything. So there's no words, just as out there playing. But as a dad, and I know Stu spoke about it earlier, but as a dad and a father watching your kid play, even at this level, you get anxiety because you want to do so well, and like everybody's expecting him to go out there and hold guys to 0 catches, and when he gives up one, people are like, oh my God, you know, which is part of the game. You know, like I said, a clock is a broken clock is right 2 times a day, and
Justin Jefferson is not a broken clock. Justin Jefferson, I don't. CD Lamb is not a broken clock.
Right.
I don't know. I am listening to Patrick, but I'm looking at these extraterrestrials who are playing wide receiver, and I got to tell you, Dad,
right,
they're a lot larger than the ones you were guarding. They're a lot faster. They're a lot faster than the
Randy
ones.
Moss wasn't good. I mean,
I'm not gonna let you do that. We talking about Randy Moss and Terrell Owens and Marvin Harrison. That's Hall of Famers now.
Yeah.
That's the guys we had to go against.
Okay.
Just back off.
You know what?
then.
I stand corrected.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I got you, Patrick.
Fair enough. I'm sorry. I deserve that
with
for
you,
for the disrespect. But I do marvel at the people your son is covering, and I don't know who he respects so much that he would say, yeah, that's a person who keeps me up a little the night before, because I know that's going to be the challenge that's about as good as I am.
Yeah, like you said, man, there's some excellent receivers in the league, but he doesn't shy away from it, man. Like he relishes the opportunity. Like we'll talk before the game. I'm like, you matching up this week? Of course I am. You know, and he looks forward to the opportunity. That's the kind of comparator he is. That's the kind of the work and the film study, the habits that he's created from himself. He's always up for the challenge. And the thing I love about it, he shows no fear, man. He give a play up. He's out there next play in his face, you know, relishing the opportunity to go against the very best. And for my money, man, the things he did, the way that his defense turned around, he definitely deserves Defensive Player of the Year, because no other corner or player has the responsibilities that he has, and to go out there and shut guys down and do it at a very high level, man, it speaks volumes.
Eric Moulds 2 times a season. Like, get the hell out of here. What are you doing? You're insulting the man.
Okay, I mean, fair enough. Eric Moulds was
that guy was a beast.
Was also a handful. But give me some names. Give me the guys, Junior, that keep you up that just a little extra sleepless.
I'll just give you a gauntlet from this year. I had some pretty good receivers. First game, I started off with DK Metcalf. You know his body of work. You know, he's one of the different receivers who could lift the whole weight room. One of them extraterrestrial receivers. So I just think that was the first one where I was like, okay, I know I got a gauntlet coming up this year. Then the next week I had George Pickens. Obviously he put his name out there this year for sure, made plays for them boys on that playoff run. Then I had to go up against Mike Evans.
All right.
Then, Mike Evans, he a Hall of Famer, does it consistently each and every year. Then Garrett Wilson. Then the list goes on. Then I went up against
You're just looking at your schedule. Do you have a schedule magnet on your computer right there? Do you
I think Dad had it tougher. I got to be honest.
I'm just going through the schedule, man. Before the season, I'm like, okay, I know which receivers I got to go up against this year.
Yeah.
So it's definitely I was up for the challenge. So, I was looking forward to it for sure.
Dad, is there anything in his physical mannerisms that you're watching him, or that anyone in your family is watching and they see you in him when he's playing?
I just say the thing I marvel at, and you know, looking back at what I did, I just say the technical aspect, you know, and just being able to stay in front of guys, man, that's a skill in itself, and just the technique, the confidence, just all that, man, that it takes to play cornerback in this league at a high level. You know, I kind of see those same traits in him that I had in myself, the playmaking ability, you know, just being able, because people don't understand, man, like there's different body types of receivers that you got to go against, especially at his size, and to go against the DK Metcalfs, and then go against the quick guys like a Garrett Wilson, then a guy like Jamar Chase. The same thing when I played. We had to go against a Randy Moss or a T.O., then come back and go against the little guy, Marvin Harris. People don't understand that, you know, those matchups are tough because you're going against different guys, and they present different challenges to you as far as quickness, power, speed, and all that stuff. And to be up and added every week, man, it takes discipline. It takes the right kind of mentality, man. And that shows why he's the best in the game.
Junior, what does Dad have to say to you after the game when his Miami Dolphins have put 70 points on your defense?
I ain't gonna lie, I can't even talk about that game, man. I ain't gonna lie. That was a game that haunted me for the next weeks after, because I wasn't expecting that. Obviously, I was going home, was expecting a good game, you know, going to see family. You know, I had like 20 plus, 30 plus family members there, you know what I mean? And even Pop showed up before the game too. So I was excited. I was ready to put on a show. Then next thing you know, the game just like went left. And I look up, it was about 50, then it went to 70. I'm like, man, I'm done with this game. I can't even be as excited anymore to see him because, we put up that performance. But, I think I felt, instant relief and gratification when I was able to see family members. That made my day much better. So, yeah, that's the experience I don't want to relive ever again.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry I did that to you, but your dad seemed to be laughing. Your dad did.
Everybody know that was quite. Yeah, that was bad.
Just for the record, like I surprised him. He didn't know I was coming, so I surprised him. Came on the field pregame and everything, and just for the record, by the end of about 2 minutes left in the third quarter, I was drunk. So I knew the score, but the thing about it, they were down, and Mike McDaniel kept throwing the ball. I'm like, oh shit, he's trying to break records on him. But yeah, I was in Club Live. I was in Club Live watching the game. It was over for me.
Your son was suffering.
Yeah, it was over.
Bad thing about it was humid. It was hot.
Yeah,
we was getting whooped in the sun. And that was.
Wow, your dad went to get drunk in the
while you're suffering on the football
field. You're allowing 70 points, and your dad is hammered before the fourth quarter.
I was watching out of one eye.
So what you were doing? You're saying you were basically drinking to make the pain go away, is what you're saying.
Oh man, that's one of those games, man. That's like the Jacksonville playoff game. They should have had liquor at halftime for us.
For the players.
Has he told
for
you
the players, absolutely.
Has he told you about that one? Does your son know the score of that game? The game that sent Dan Marino into retirement. Does your son even remember the score of that game?
He's a student of the game. He may not know though. That was bad.
Your father allowed Jimmy Smith and the rest of those receivers
Jimmy Smith.
to beat Dan Marino in his final game 63-7 in a playoff game.
Hey,
who's laughing now, Patrick?
Smith, man. It was Fred Taylor. Hey, I knew it was over. I knew it was over first frame of the game. Dan throws a pick six, and the water sprinklers come on. It was over after that.
At least we put 20. I mean, shoot, we still though.
It was Marino's last game.
That was it.
I don't remember that one. I don't.
Yeah, man. Sorry, Dad.
Guys, thank you and congratulations. It really is a delight to see the son pick up the father's craftsmanship and take that Surtain legacy and make it something that shines even brighter than it did in Miami, where it's shown plenty bright. Thank you, gentlemen.
From fireside conversations to football Sundays, winter means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer. A new year is a perfect time for friends, family, and a great tasting light beer. Tastes like Miller time. 2024 had its ups, had its downs, had a lot of moments in it. For me, many of those moments, I had a Miller Lite right there by my side. I supplemented my time by making it a Miller time. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Miller Lite has taste you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just a great beer for people who love beer. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers, and it has simple ingredients like malted barley for rich, balanced toffee note flavors and that iconic golden color. The original light beer since 1975 and still the very best one. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.